Welcome to Community Insight. I am your host, Reverend Dr. Cole, sharing information with you, what's going on in our community. Today I have another guest, a special guest. This man of God is doing so much in his community. So I advise you today, like always, get your pen and paper ready to hear some things what you about to hear from this gentleman today. Today we are welcoming this gentleman here, a pastor, Reverend James Moore. Reverend James Moore, welcome to Insight Broadcast here.
Thank you, sir.
Now, there's a whole lot you do, man. I know what you're doing. Could you kind of share with the audience one of the things you're doing? We're gonna hit everything we could get from you, man. Today we're gonna drain you out like a toothpaste, brother. So explain to some of the ministry. There's one's called the Kingdom Distributor, Distributing Kingdom. What exactly is that, Pastor?
So Kingdom Distributors. It started from Eternal Legacy. That's the actual church that we established about a year and a half ago. And one of our mottos with the ministry is being a necessary blessing at a necessary time. And literally every asset that we have, we definitely try to connect it to God. And with that being said, we want to be the biggest asset to the community that we can be. So about 22 years ago, my father was able to get a grant through the USDA to acquire a 76,000 square foot warehouse. And it's been dormant for years. Well, through the ministry and through a lot of mentorship and counsel, we were able to establish this business called Kingdom Distributors. And essentially what this business is we are tapping into the wholesale market, and we're able to really compete with a lot of your retailers. It's a distribution center. So we try to get new items on the market so we can be that blessing at that necessary time. So we have all types of things. We have appliances, we have furniture, we have bedding, you name it. We have toys, we have ties, we have essential items. So anything that you can think of, from the grocery store, we're starting to get food now as well. So it's been a blessing, and you can tell that the hand of God is all over it.
It's all over. Well, I'm going to say something because they hear your last name, but they don't know the legend, who's your dad, and I'm going to say it on it. The legend is Reverend David Moore from Beaufort County, Washington area, who's with Methodist Church and built clinics. Your dad was a man that planted seeds all over. I remember me coming down here from New York, and I sat with your dad, and he walked me through some things, and he was a doer.
Absolutely.
He was really a doer. And it's amazing, so they know who you are, what you connect, what seed you're connected to.
Absolutely.
Is Reverend David Moore, the man to get things done, building things down there. That city, he have done so much. And I'm going to say he done more than most people I know that lives down there. So you might get a little upset with me, but it's all right. I said the devil, to tell the truth, to shame the devil. You know what I'm saying? But the work that you're doing now, and I'm going to say it this way, that your dad left you, and the work that you're doing in appliance, to me, just seeing his work coming all over again. Absolutely. And I think that it's very important for all fathers to plant a seed. And that seed being planted. But when you talked about distributing, you got stuff being distributed, like you got refrigerators and how you help the community in items and toys. And what made you bring that name, Kingdom Distributor? What brought that name on?
Well, essentially, the name of the ministry is called Eternal Legacy.
Okay.
So you want to make sure that your legacy lines up with eternity, right?
Yeah.
So everything, we have a kingdom agenda. That's kind of a wordplay from Dr. Tony Evans. He started this, he coined the term kingdom agenda. So essentially, we're all connected, and we want to make sure that we're connected to the kingdom in the agenda associated with it. So essentially, like I said, if God's in it, it can't fail.
Come on now.
Right?
Come on.
If God's in it, it can't fail. And I think a lot of issues with a lot of churches and church leaders today is that we operate in isolation. We have to get back to each other. We need to connect. The gospel is a gospel of love first and foremost, but it's a gospel of reconciliation. It's a gospel of unity, right? And I think that is, you can't do it all.
No.
Right? That's why the Bible talks about unity. right? But I think it's my call as a minister to be a galvanizing force within the community and bring everybody together. And what better way than to have God right in the midst of the wholesale industry? And it feels so good when you have a mother that just doesn't have the money to buy a refrigerator, and you can give it away, because at the end of the day, you're getting enough donations, you're getting enough resources from various different locations that you can be that necessary blessing at a necessary time. So everything, all the names are intentional. Everything that we do is very intentional.
You said a few things here. I'm going to elaborate on it. One is the word unity is also in the word community when you spell it.
Absolutely.
So we help in our community, that unity is in there. And I guess that the question that sometimes we all going to deal with is, why is it take us pastors or other organization to come together and work for the glory? We only got one boss. You know what I'm saying? I mean, why you find is it? I feel that sometimes some people on territories.
Yeah.
I mean, what is it that we can't just come together, and that is needed, Pastor?
Yeah. I preached a sermon about 3.5, maybe 4 weeks ago, and I talked about the 3 deadly T's. It's the titles, the tradition, and the territory. And, there's a lot of politics within the church. And a lot of times, worldly ideologies have a way of seeping in. That's why it's so important that we trust in the living God. And a lot of times we start trusting in each other. Well, if you trust in a fallible, when you trust in a finite being, a limited being, get ready for some heartbreak. You got to trust in a being that's infallible, that's perfect in every way. And I tell you, that is the greatest lesson, one of the greatest lessons that my father taught me, in his legacy, in his life, to really trust in God. There were many times that people would not support him, but he was able to maneuver around, and he got, funding from the state, federal funding, and he did amazing things.
Oh, yes.
And that's the stock that I come from. So I see the hand of God all over, my life, and, that's the secret sauce. There is no secret. You trust in him, he's going to take care of the rest.
It may have, when you speak about your father, your dad is where, that's what's one of those things of making connection. We all, myself, bump into walls and saying, how do we get us to come together? I mean, and it's not a black and white thing. It's just a man and people thing. How do we come together to help our community? And what you're doing down there, I mean, I'm so honored to have you on the show. And the work that you're doing down there is keep on moving and helping people. Like you said something about, even with the senior citizen, mama can't afford, she can't afford the machine. She, one thing, there's one of the pastors named Greg Green. He's bringing on a beautiful ministry, and I won't say it on the stage here right now, but he's bringing it on. But just a little focus is dealing with parents and mothers and single mothers. I mean, worse enough, you work all day. You're trying to, it take 2 to have a child now. I mean, come on now. I mean, then the father, if he ain't there, she's trying to pay her bills. She's trying to pay her car payment because she had to get to work. She's trying to pay the cable bill so the kid can play, at least watch TV. You can't take him to the park all the time or to the entertainment. And then her refrigerator go. Like, what do I do? I mean, refrigerator is not cheap, man.
Absolutely.
It ain't not cheap.
Yeah, when these rising gas prices and oil prices are going to keep on going up. Yeah,
I'm saying this all day. I hope the Biden gives somebody for the gas. Because this gas is heavy out here right now. I mean, I'm about to walk.
And that's part of our mission. When the prices go up, our prices go down in the kingdom, because our network is so vast. When you look at all the issues in the world, when you look at all the issues in America, we shouldn't have any issues because there's enough money circulating within our economy. It's just that everyone's operating in isolation. But if we come together and do what the word says, be the church, be the church that Luke described in Acts, be the church that the Apostle Paul described throughout his epistles, we wouldn't have all these issues. But the thing is the 3 deadly T's. It's the titles. People are too egotistical. Tradition. Sometimes you got to learn, when to let go. Truth is over tradition, right? And it's the territory. At the end of the day, everything that we have is a temporary loan.
Come on now. Come on
I
now.
guarantee you, if I pass away today, somebody's going to be wearing this jacket tomorrow.
Yes,
it's,
sir.
It's kind of fly.
But I like it, man. I'm just thinking, where you get that from?
So everything that you have is a temporary loan.
Yeah.
So with that being said, the ministry is geared to just educating. And like, for instance, let me tell you one thing that we do. One thing that we do at Eternal Legacy is we go out and we intentionally visit other churches, denominations,
Wow.
and we don't let them know. We do at least once a month. And when we do go, all of the tithes and offering that we would collect for Eternal Legacy, we do a love offering and we give it to them.
Wow.
Now, we don't expect anything in return. We're just letting them know that, look, we love you, and this is the church that I see in the Bible, you know. But you have to have a lot of trust in God for that, because at the end of the day, think about this. What if you didn't have an establishment that you have to pay bills for, like in terms of a building? Thank God I have a member that owns quite a few buildings, and we're able to operate our ministry out of there. And he doesn't charge a dime. So with that being said,
A blessing on a blessing.
establishing a healthy network of assets, you can do so much more. But like I said, it goes back to people like to operate in isolation. We got to unify. The resources are right under our nose. All we have to do is just galvanize, come together. That's the secret.
It's not what you don't know or what you need. It's what you think you need to stop us, man. You know, you know, if we can come together, what you just mentioned, something that's like, you put me to the book of Acts. You know, I think it's 20:35 is a blessing to give than it is to receive, and you know, the taking tithe money and funds and things you sell to help somebody else, because you don't know what they go, and knowing how the Lord lead you in the spirit where to go.
Absolutely.
You know, and bless it, and God gets the glory. And you're right, there's so many people on tradition or on the past, won't let it go, and it's a territory where it's theirs and not God's. I mean, you know, I heard Denzel Washington say one time, I have never seen a hearse, you
That's
know,
right.
in front of a U-Haul working with a hearse. It's in front of it because you're taking
Yeah.
all your stuff along with you.
That's right.
Because you're not taking it with you. It's so important what you said, Pastor, is what are we doing today to make a change in our life? What are we doing? If the Lord allow you to get up today, you know what? You got one more day to get it right, man. Whatever you done wrong yesterday, that's in the past. Let's get it right today.
That's right.
And help. And I'm looking, I give it to God, because God said they're here to find a man like you and your dad, and they out here. And what do we need to do to come together? Because we're not on no ego trip. We on a mission, man,
That's
to
it.
get things done, man.
Absolutely.
And what y'all guys are doing over there is like, wow, out of the world, man. And anything that could be supported. And then I'm going to say this on air. I'm going to say it for you. You know, everything you're doing because God is blessed. It's a blessing to give and receive. But I would tell you, man, if people can help with anything, what would you ask them to help you with?
I would ask them to support the kingdom, support Kingdom Distributors. I would ask them, let them know that all donations are needed, and you will see the fruits of your labor. You'll actually see exactly where the money's going. I would ask them for prayer at the end of the day. That's always needed, and just continue to know that you have a resource and an asset out there that's going to bless you and help you when you need it. You don't have to operate alone. You're not in this thing alone. And that's the greatest message that I can convey today, that don't operate in isolation. Yeah.
You know, it's amazing when you say that there's so many people, they stay themselves in that one position and don't move. They want to know why things are not happening. Because you didn't move. You know what I'm saying? You know, it's like a vehicle, brother.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? If you're sitting in a parking space and you got the engine on and it never went into gear,
Yeah.
you standing still. You're right there, man. Nothing happened.
Let me say this to you. I want to tell you about this amazing program that we have. What we're doing at Kingdom Distributors now is every dollar that you donate, we will give it back to you in Kingdom Cash.
Wow.
So if you give $1 to us, we'll write you out a voucher, and you have $1 worth of product you can buy. If you give $100, we'll write you out a voucher for $100. So wouldn't it be sweet if you go into Kingdom Distributors and you need a refrigerator, you can get a refrigerator for half the price that you would get at the at the I'm not gonna name any stores, but at the store.
Understand?
And then you also get a certified exemption letter as well for your tax purposes as well. It's all about connecting dots.
Yes.
So, what we have done, we have a for-profit but a non-profit, but they work in tandem together, connecting dots, just like we should do as human beings, but oftentimes we don't. But
that is brilliant, man, because when you just said where, hey, if I say, first thing, your price is so reasonable that like it's already, I feel we already robbing you. But the point is, man, is that a reasonable price? I mean, this what happened is I'm giving you XY dollars. I'm saying I'm using $100. Next thing I'm going to use $100. You give me a tax write-off letter that I'm making a donation, but then you turn around and give me $100 of credit that I can get. That's 3 blessings, man.
Yeah.
Father, Son, and Holy I got my refrigerator, which I already stole from you. You know what I'm saying? And said thank you, but you gave me a letter for it. Absolutely. And on top of that, I got a refrigerator. Mm-hmm. I got credit to use for something else. Mm-hmm. I mean, I would like to see God, and I know He's moving on your life, man. Sometimes I look at what some other people are doing, and you can tell whether it's God is doing. Sometimes people could be doing the work for God, but it's not of God, brother. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And when I see the work of God moving, what you have is something that God gave in the vision. This is wisdom, man. Mm-hmm. And no one thought about that. Yeah. And how you're doing it. And again, I don't want to put out your business, but I tell you got quality stuff. I mean, the stuff that you have, man. Yeah, I say, if I need a refrigerator, I'm telling my wife, I'm going over here. You know what I'm saying?
I thank you.
And on top of that, and the people that needs help, I'm be coming to you because we always helping people with refrigerators or things they need help with. That's part of the community network on things and helping them. Like you just said, if I can let me help others to get it. Sometimes it could be wearing, but you know what? It's worth it, man. We can help people, man. So what you just said, where it's brilliant what you just did. It's how you work with them where they can get stuff. And you got a lot of stuff in your warehouse. That's a warehouse. I mean, when I have a little small building, it's like 5,000 square feet. When you got it's like, whoa. I mean, you got more room to expand. Yeah. And I just pray and I give it to God. I want to see it continue growing. And whatever I can do to help with it, man, I want to see. Because God really touched you and your wife hard to do that, man,
I greatly appreciate it. And I take it back to every room that Jesus went into, every environment He was in, He was a blessing. And we should try to emulate that. I tell you, all the answers to life, all the difficulties that we go through, because we have this 7 dimensions of health philosophy, from your spiritual, your mental, emotional, social, environmental, financial. You need to make sure that you're at a certain point with all of those dimensions of health. And my ministry is geared to elevating those dimensions to make sure that you are at the very best that you can be. And it goes back to just trying to be like Christ, man. that is no secret to it. I'm sold out for the Lord. Everything that I do, He gets all the glory. Yes. And that's another thing. I wanted to bring my whole team here to actually just introduce themselves because I couldn't do it without my team. So at the end of the day, it's those individuals that's in the warehouse now, and it feels so good that I'm providing so many opportunities for employment as well.
Oh yes.
And it's just a blessing, all around blessing.
Well, I'm gonna give you an opportunity right now to shout their names out, and also because there's people probably watching this broadcast with their pen and say, "That boyhead guy, man, we gonna let me get the information out." He keep on telling this guy, man, hey, we got my pen to figure out how we can get what we need to do. I mean, so I'm gonna give you if you could go to your camera and tell them, give me your information, how to get in contact with you, if there's a website, and then give you time to shout you guys out.
Absolutely. So the name of the business is Kingdom Distributors. We're located at 418 North Brown Street in Washington, North Carolina, 27889. The email address is www.kingdomdistributors.org. And the Eternal Legacy website is www.eternallegacyministries.com. And I'm going to do something special today. The first 7 individuals who calls the Kingdom Distributor line, which is 252-495-3044, we're going to give you a $50 voucher to shop at Kingdom Distributors, a $50 voucher. If you call this number, 252-495-3044, that's the Kingdom Distributor line, you're probably going to get Samuel Jones or Shanika Kinlaw. You will get a $50 voucher. Now, you want to call within the next 10 minutes because I haven't told him that yet. It's just in my heart just to be a blessing to you. So give me about 10 minutes and you can go in and text. You can text or call, and I'm going to have a $50 store voucher for you, the first 7.
Wow. I mean,
And the vouchers, I'm sorry, the vouchers is going to
Mm-hmm.
look like this. There you go. You can take. In fact, I'm going to give Dr. Coles one.
I got my voucher. Amen. A little shopping for the wifey. Wow. I mean, this is the type of things I love doing, and I give God glory for meeting people that is like you, that have the type of heart like I have of giving, and helping people. And what you just said there, giving them a $50 gift certificate and a voucher to help them. I mean, the work that you guys are doing is like, is out of sight, and the things that you're having, and how God worked with you, and like saying, I thank God for your father, because he was the only one that down there in Washington, and then I started now working with Bishop McIntyre, been working with him, and he's doing great work. But your dad was the man. I sat there, and he never stopped me from coming to his office, because I never had an appointment. I just came.
That was him.
I'm in the neighborhood between him and sat down and chat with him and talk with him, and had a heart of building and the free clinics, and then he have his son now is doing what he's doing, and I just give God glory for him, because even though we having Father and Men Conference June 10th this year, one of the key things, Pastor, I'm gonna say, if we don't save our male seeds is a duplicate of what we're doing, and if we don't have a strong leader, a strong dad in that household. I mean, you can have a dad in there, he can be as weak as a lamb, but you don't have a strong father, dad in that house that is leading and having God in his heart and following Jesus, man, then we're not doing nothing. And that's what your father did. And that's been continue growing on as your life keep on going. And there's many, many. So I'm also putting it out there for those for Father and Men Conference. It's on June 10th. Please register. Go to fatherandmen.com. We're going to have some Parker barbecue. And that's it. It's not healthy for those who's on the health kick. I apologize in advance. But we're going to throw down, because the last time I thought I could have that Father and Men for just an hour and a half, and I didn't even give him no water. This time I'm going to feed you, man. We're going to do what is right. Amen. So fatherandmen.com. For fathers, listen to it. If there's moms on the line, send this father with the son. We're going to have a gentleman coming down named Jason Brown, coming down, NFL, retire, and he gave up $36 million just to farm and didn't know nothing about farming and following God. He reminded me of the rich ruler, which the rich ruler say, hey, man, I'm taking what I got, brother. He looked at Jesus, and Jesus was something wrong with him. But Jason Brown did it. But to get back to my pastor, this man of God, James Moore, Reverend James Moore, we just thanking God for all the work you and your wife is doing there. And yeah, you got Mr. Jones. Man, when you was away, man, see, you know what a leader is? A leader can lead when they on the West Coast. You know what I'm saying? And kept things going. So, I mean, to me, I giving God the glory and thanking you for everything that you're doing. You have listened to the broadcast here. You have had Reverend James Moore from Kingdom Distributing. The number is 252-495-3044. 252-495-3044. He's giving out vouchers. He's working with people. And I'm going to say this online. If you can help and donate, listen, if there's garbage, trash it. But if something you can donate is kind of new, because everything his place is new. Everything he got is new. So I'm going to move that part away. If you could donate monetarily, let me put it that way. Let's go that way, because everything he got there is brand new stuff that he's giving away. You get stuff from somebody's stuff and got maybe roaches and stuff running in there. Man, this thing's all brand new stuff. Well, again, contact him. Thank you for listening to our broadcast. God bless, and we'll see you at the next one.